Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA with me, Seamus Brady, and Luke Payton as always. In this video, we are going to be discussing the Dublin and Cork All-Ireland quarter-final of 2022. Dublin winning by 21 points to Cork's 10, of course. Cork were, massive underdogs going into this game. Of course, Dublin won, 6 All-Ireland titles before last season's defeat to Mayo. Even though Dublin had been relegated to Division 2, their form throughout the Leinster Championship had been excellent. Cork had kind of stuttered through, really. Got good draws, not easy draws, but definitely winnable games in the qualifiers against the likes of Limerick that are, at their level. Cork get through and then face off against Dublin in the All-Ireland quarter-final. Luke, 11-point victory for Dublin. Were you impressed with them?
Not hugely, but they didn't need to impress really to get the job done. And they didn't. It was a bit slow at times. It wasn't a fantastic pace to the game, but it's job done for Dublin. They did everything they had to do, and there was never any doubt really in that game that they were going to lose. That there was never a second where you thought that they were going to be on the wrong side of the result anyway. As well, they did that without McCarthy, without Khan. Davy Byrne's only coming back from injury. Robbie McDade's gone as well, and there's other players that are missing too. That the squad is being stretched a little bit at the moment, and to still win by 11 points, you could want the performance to be a little bit better, and you could always say that. But to be honest, I think Dublin be happy enough, job done, and by more than double scores. So that anytime you do that, it has to be a good day in the office.
Yeah, no doubt. The spread of scores, interesting. Kieran Kilkenny, 3 points. Lee Gannon again coming up from cornerback to hit 2. Brian Fenton hit 2 points from midfield. Paddy Small, of course, back in the team, of course. First time really we've seen him since the last championship. Cork, on the other hand, Stephen Sherlock and Cathal Mahoney both only got 1 point from play throughout the game. They were held a lot by Dublin. Do you think the Dublin defence is improving, or do you think that it was still a bit below par before the Kerry game?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because in the first half they caused a few problems. Dublin just went man on man, and they were pretty much saying that they trust their backs to go and to be able to match Cork's, and they caused a few problems for them, and that there was a few iffy moments. But yeah, you look at the stats, and like you said there as well, you look at the inside line for Cork. I think between them all, they scored 3 from play. And to be honest, if that's all that your opposition full forward line are going to score from play, you'll take that absolutely every single day. So you can't really argue with the fact that they only shipped 10 scores in there as well. You can see 10 points in the game, you're going to win it. So I think Dublin will be relatively happy enough with the defence. I think it's only going to improve when McCarthy comes back in. If they can get McDade and Davy Byrne back fit as well, then that'll improve even more so then as well. But yeah, it's the only thing is I'd be more worried about the other end. I think attacking sense is the problem. Out of the 21, 10 of those were from set pieces by Dean Rock, 9 frees and 1 mark. So I think Sean Hurst was particularly picky. With it, the game didn't really flow much. And Dublin kicked a lot of frees, but there was a little bit of lack of incisiveness maybe to the attack, I think, too, though. So that'll be the little bit of a worry. And that, when Khan's not there, there isn't really a goal threat for Dublin as well. And that they just they'll happily clip over a few scores as well. But when it comes to the opportunity to take on your man and kind of commit a few defenders and creating overlaps and creating goal chances as well, there's no one really else up in that full forward line that does it when Khan's not there. So that's why in a way I was kind of curious to see if Owen O'Donnell was going to play up in the full forward line for Dublin, because he has that repertoire in the club game, that he has the ability to actually play a similar style of full forward play to Khan, but he kind of seemed to come on a bit more deeper when he came on as well. So I'm clear Desi's not looking at him in that instance. But yeah, I think that is the concern, is that when you've got Costello, Rock and Paddy Small in there, they're all kind of sharp shooters, and they all take shots on site and stuff, and there's maybe not that kind of threat of getting in behind a defence or taking their man on.
Yeah, but on the flip side then for Dublin, you were mentioning about the sharp shooting. Another game now in the championship that Dublin have hit over 20 points. We did that against Meath, did that against Wexford, now again against Cork. It's obviously good signs that were shooting more. I mean, last season it was painfully boring, really, in terms that Dublin would hang on to the ball for 10 minutes at a time before taking the shot, and it kept teams in the game. Now we seem to be punishing with our attacks a lot more this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, and to be fair, look, we were very critical of Desi last year after the Mayo game, and like, and rightfully so, because it was absolutely abject to watch, and it was a really tough to watch after having watched the 6 in a row Dublin team, and like particularly in the earlier years of it as well. The football was really, really good, and they just played some fantastic stuff, and it was actually great to watch them every single time. But look, by the time that the Mayo game last year came around, it was nearly unwatchable stuff at times, and it'd gone like stuff that had kind of worked at the end of All Ireland finals. They decided they were going to do the whole time, and they were going to kind of hoard the possession for 5 to 10 minutes or something, and all this sort of crack. And it became way too much. And you know what? And look, I think Desi's realised that as well, and he's kind of completely tore up the script a bit, and they've just gone back to a more kind of basic game plan. I know they still get the bodies behind the ball when you're out of possession, but every team does that. It's just the fact that now when they have the ball, they are moving it that bit quicker, and this kind of possession game plan it kind of seems to be gone. And look, I think every Dublin fan around the county will be thanking Desi for that one, because look, it was very, very difficult to get behind the team with the style of play last year. So look, it is a lot better this year, and look, there's runners coming from deep as well. He already talks about, like, Lee Gannon's been putting up scores in pretty much in every single game so far this year, and it's way more exciting now, I think, and it's just a better all round style of play. And look, if they can get Con back into the team, fully fit for the Kerry game, like I do think that they'll be motoring pretty well, like.
Yeah, agreed. And obviously now we've talked about it, nothing really but positives for Dublin from this game, and they're running the championship so far up until this point. For Cork, the end of the running the All-Ireland Football Championship for this year. Of course, they put in a good first half performance against Kerry. They put in a good first half performance here. Do you think what positives, do you think that they can take out of this game and the championship itself?
Yeah, Joe, I'd be positive enough about Cork, I think. And that, look, I think when, like, at the start of the year with the change of management and everything as well, was that, look, they were saying it's a rebuild and it could be a few years of a rebuild. Look, for a year one of a rebuild, to get to an All-Ireland quarter-final and to have a few wins along the way, look, you'll take that, I think. And I think if you told Cork fans at the start of the year that they do that, they'd be competitive with Dublin for parts of it. They'd be competitive with Kerry for, like, probably the entire first half, and then maybe the first little bit of time in the second half. I think that would have been probably an acceptable enough result for year one. Obviously, look, they just have to keep building, and they seem to have found a few nice players, like the likes of John Cooper's good find, Rory Maguire, and look, they're finally utilising Stephen Sherlock as well after all this time as well. So they found a few players, but the question is they just have to keep improving now, and that's the challenge facing them. Is they've got to their All-Ireland quarter-final next year. They have to show continuous improvement, and look, it's some jump to go from an All-Ireland quarter-final to a semi-finalist team, but that's the challenge facing Cork. And look, it's just, we'll see what happens now with the structures, with the management and everything like that as well going forward. But I do think overall it's a pretty positive enough start, albeit, look, they're a long way off still, but it's a good first step.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. And I am rooting for them, because I loved it when Cork were right up there at the top, in the 2010s and everything like that, right at the start of the decade and in the 2000s. I know the atmosphere that they bring to Croke Park, they add a lot to the GAA Championship when they were there at the top. So I'd be looking forward to having them back. And of course, that 2019 quarterfinal against Dublin in the Super 8s, that was a really enjoyable game of football. This one was not as enjoyable, but definitely a good spectacle of football. So, guys, that is the match review here on Play on GAA. We have match reviews for all the quarterfinals which happened over the weekend, including a special debate on the melee between Galway and Armagh. So make sure you check out all them videos. And until next one, guys, take care.